Hello and welcome to Spinster's Library. I'm Claudia and today I want to do what I'm going to call the First Impressions Book Challenge. I searched for that term on YouTube and nothing came up, so I'm just going to claim that title now. And what this means is I'm going to pick my next read from my TBR shelf, which is behind me, based on just the very first sentence of the book. So on this shelf there are 33 books that I haven't read yet, and I'm going to determine which book to read by picking out 5 books at random and then reading the first sentence. And then I'll pick the book with the best first sentence, and that will be my next read. So I have a 20-sided die here, also known as a D20 among nerds, and I'm going to use that to approximately randomize my shortlist of 5 books. I'm going to roll this 5 times and then count up the books from the left of the pile and the right of the pile alternatingly. Then I will take those 5 books, read out the first sentence and tell you what I think of them. Let's roll the die. So the die has been cast and the numbers that I'm going to pick out are 19, 12, 20, 11 and 4. So let me just go and get those books from the shelf. Alright, here I am with my shortlist. Let's start with the first book. It's a collection of 3 novels by the Bronte sisters. I have read 2 of those novels. So I've read Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte and I've read Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. And the only book in here that I haven't read is Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. By the way, this is a really gorgeous edition. It's like gilded cover and here on the outside of the pages as well. But weirdly, it smells like risotto. Like when you open the book, you get this overwhelming smell of saffron and I don't know why. Agnes Grey. So we've got the contents page and then chapter 1, The Parsonage. All true histories contain instruction, though in some the treasure may be hard to find, and when found, so trivial in quantity that the dry, shriveled kernel scarcely compensates for the trouble of cracking the nut. It's alright, isn't it? So this first sentence makes me think that this is a book that contemplates a lot, that's probably not very heavy on action, and that probably carries some sort of moral message. I should note that I know nothing at all about Agnes Grey, so feel free to tell me if I'm completely wrong in this. The second book that I picked at random is Carol Ann Duffy, Rapture, and I believe this is a poetry collection, so first sentence could be a bit of a weird one here. We'll just go with it. The poem is called You. Uninvited, the thought of you stayed too late in my head, so I went to bed, dreaming you hard, woke with your name, like tears, soft salt on my lips, the sound of its bright syllables, like a charm, like a spell. Full stop. So that is a sentence. I don't know how I feel about poetry. I always feel like I'm just a little bit too stupid for it, and I know I'm not stupid, but it just feels like I can't quite understand the language that the poet is using to communicate with me. Not sure on this one. The third pick is Last Tango in Aberystwyth by Malcolm Pryce. I believe I got this one in the £5 charity shop challenge that I did with Charlie way back. And I picked this because it's set in Wales and it seems to be a crime novel set in Wales. Let's see what kind of a novel we're dealing with here. Chapter 1. I needed to find a druid, which in Aberystwyth is like trying to find a wasp at a picnic. I've never been to Aberystwyth, but living in North Wales, that's true. The fourth pick is Altes Land by Dörte Hansen. So this is going to be good entertainment for all of you non-German speakers. 1. Kirschbäume. In manchen Nächten, wenn der Sturm von Westen kam, stöhnte das Haus wie ein Schiff, das in schwerer See hin und her geworfen wurde. Quite bland as a first sentence. I mean, I'm getting an evocative kind of writing style. There's probably going to be a lot of description in this book, but it certainly doesn't start with a bang, does it? So this seems to be a book set in an old house, which is quite atmospheric, but I can't really get much more out of it than that. Let's get to the last pick, which is The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas by John Boyne. Chapter 1. Bruno makes a discovery. One afternoon, when Bruno came home from school, he was surprised to find Maria, the family's maid, who'd always kept her head bowed and never looked up from the carpet, standing in his bedroom, pulling all his belongings out of the wardrobe and packing them in 4 large wooden crates, even the things he'd hidden at the back that belonged to him and were nobody else's business. That's possibly the longest first sentence out of all 5 books. And so far, I mean, based on that first sentence, it seems to be a very easy, flowing, readable style. It seems like the sort of book that, independent of subject matter, is smoothly written and nice to read. So now I have read out and commented on all 5 first sentences. I'm going to have to decide which book is going to be my next read. So for me, it's between 2 books, really. It's between Last Tango in Aberystwyth and The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas. I liked reading both of those first sentences. They're very different from each other, so now I just have to decide what kind of a mood I'm in. And it has to be Welsh crime fiction. I'm going to read Last Tango in Aberystwyth by Malcolm Pryce next. I hope I like it, despite this being clearly part of a series, because it says a Louis Knight mystery down there. I haven't really read much sort of cozy mystery novels. I read one Agatha Christie last month. You can see my reaction to that in my wrap-up video. But other than that, this is a genre that's entirely new to me. This seems to be a humorous and light-hearted take on the murder mystery, and I'm very much looking forward to getting into that. So I can really recommend doing this First Impressions book challenge as a way of exploring your TBR in a kind of non-committal way, because in the end you still get to pick your next read. It's not like one of those things where you let luck decide on what you're going to read next. And by reading the first sentence as a kind of condensed version of reading the first chapter, you can get to hopefully a decent first impression of the book. So if you want to do this, feel free. Make sure you comment down below if you're going to do this, so I can catch your video as well. I'm not going to call this a tag because I'm not going to tag anyone, but do it, tell me about it, and enjoy. Thank you for watching. Bye.